I'm a wild. What's up, guys? This is Uriah Faber.
What's up, guys? Stephen One Boy Thompson.
It's the IBS champion, Earl Smith Jr.
This is Cynthia Calvio.
Hi, this is Michaela Mayer.
This is Derek the Black Beast Slows.
This is Daniel the Miracle Man Jacob. Shout out to Kendrick and Matt.
And you're listening to
the Slip and Dip podcast
With your boy Kendrick and Matt.
And you're listening to Kendrick and Matt on the Slip and Dip podcast.
What is up, people? Welcome back to the Slip and Dip podcast, episode number 53, coming at you live on a Sunday evening, on the heels of UFC Chile and before UFC Liverpool. We got some boxing action as well. We'll get into that a little bit here. But Kendrick, what's going on, my man?
Man, lined up perfectly, man. I watched our previous guest, JoJo Diaz, give Gary Russell a hell of a fight. He came to fight. Everything he said live here on the Slip and Dip podcast, he walked the walk and talked the talk. And then it went straight from that into the Donald Stevenson and Badu Jack, another great fight. And as soon as I got over there, I flip over, and my boy Kamaru creeping into the cage. So I timed that perfect. I saw everything I need to see right from my couch, right in order. You couldn't time that out.
Yeah, it actually flowed out pretty good. It flowed out pretty well. Even with the NBA, I was keeping up with the NBA game a little bit until it was a blowout. Yeah, I mean, it ended up being a blowout, so that was third priority at the time. But,
exactly.
You know, it was good for all of one quarter.
You want to start boxing and work our way back to UFC?
Yeah, let's hop into some boxing, man.
Man, JoJo, man, I think he's a future world champion. I wouldn't say I was questioning it, but it's one thing to think it and see it. I knew he was going to give Gary Russell all he want, but at the same time, Gary Russell does what I talk about in combat sports. He made the A-word adjustments. I don't think he thought JoJo had anything for him. I don't know what the hell he been watching, but second half, he took two or three brutal body shots. And like, whoa, we don't need this in our life. And then he started using his skills. He has the quickest hands in boxing, and his skill level is in the top 5. And so he started working off a jab. It seems very basic, but a lot of motherfuckers don't do it. And that's what he did. And it kept JoJo guessing. He had his moments, but Gary Russell was turned into a dogfight, into a technical battle where he had the skills and didn't take as much punishment, but it was a lot more rough and tumble. I think he's a lot more sore today than he thought it was going to be when he was stepping in that ring last night.
Yeah, he was listening to his corner really well. Like you said, making those adjustments. But I got to give credit, man, kind of like you were touched on there. Like Diaz, man, he showed has heart. Like kind of akin to the MMA version of the Diaz is. You know, he was in it till the very end, and like he kept swinging. Like the last minute of the 12th round was just like fireworks. Like it don't matter what the scorecards are reading. Like you felt that he wanted to win that fight, but like you said, he's got to do more earlier on, you know, and overcome the adjustments and adjust back to the adjustments, you know, and in fact, be able to overcome that stuff.
In fact, yours truly got a text. I texted him out to the show show him love because we're cool on a personal level, and my man JoJo, zoom, go through here. He said, Thanks, bro. I know I belong in this level. Just got to make some minor adjustments. Going to grind even harder now. Tell everybody I will be back. That's straight from JoJo Diaz himself.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the main event on that card, man.
Badu Jack got robbed again. Donald Stevenson, only thing that helped for him was he was a champion fighting at home. He had some moments. He threw a brutal body shot in the 10th round, but he didn't. When the going was tough, from 7 to 12, I got him one round. So I don't see how we got this draw. I had him 115, 113. It wasn't like the worst decision ever, but it's just like, what is Badu Jack doing? Because the rounds he won, he clearly won.
Yeah.
And then, so like I said, he didn't get the benefit of the doubt in none of the swing rounds.
Yeah, it was a little weird, man. Because like, even if you're not scoring every round, you know, like your boxing scoring, like it felt like Badu Jack won that fight. And even if you were scoring the fight, how you should be scoring a boxing match, he won the fight. So it's weird, and it's just one of those things, man. Like we see this over and over and over throughout the years in boxing, where fights that are close end up being a draw, just so we can have a rematch, just so we can make more money again down the line. It's just frustrating to see this kind of thing happen, man. Badu Jack won that fight. I don't care what you tell me.
And Don Stevenson was more Clark Kent than Superman. He looked like a 40-year-old dude. I will say this. I don't say he would have got him out of there, but I think he probably could have put Badu Jack on his ass if this fight happens 2 or 3 years ago. But as you know, I say over and over on this podcast because it's true. Combat sports, it's a young man's game.
Yeah, it definitely is. It definitely is. But even in the midst of all that, the ref got some action too. I know you saw
Why
that.
am I making a big deal?
I know you saw that.
He took it like a champ, though. He's like, boom, I got you, man. Calm down. He didn't even skip a beat.
The ref has a chin, boy. I don't know if you guys saw that. If you guys haven't seen it,
I saw it live. I didn't think it was that big a deal. Like, oh, damn, he was amped up, but the ref, he kept walking. He walked right through the punch.
Boom! Caught him right on the chin. He kind of did a quick little stumble. He's like, we're good. Go to it. Go to it. Man, that's crazy. Like, anytime you see a ref like that, dang, that angle was even worse. You just gotta shake it. You're like, yep, you got me. You got me. It's all right. It's all right.
You are.
But yeah, man. Badu Jack definitely got robbed. I will say that. I won't say robbed, but he was not awarded a win. He should have been. I'll just put it that way.
It should have been and new.
Yeah.
It was a close fight, but he definitely deserved a nod.
For sure, 100%. So let's. Any other boxing you wanted to hit on? Or is that it?
I'm working on getting Gary Russell on. I got to talk to somebody that's direct contact because he don't do many interviews. So hopefully we can get him to the Slip and Dead podcast. That would be a big get because he's a man of few words. He lets his hands do the talking. I still think he got one of the coolest nicknames. He just Mr. Gary Russell. That shit is dying. It's like you find out. Did your mom call you that? Mr. Gary Russell. That's funny. But he said something about our other guest that was on the same episode as JoJo. He wants the winner of the He wants the winner of the Maran Santa Cruz fight. That will be a hell of a fight, regardless of whoever wins. I definitely would want to see that in person. But then is Mr. Russell fights once every year and a half, so that involves fighting sometime this year. So maybe he'll get off his couch again because he's a guy that takes $1 million like a real person. He don't spend it crazy. He supports his kids and just stay in Maryland and does his thing. So he comes out and makes his like that. Like this is payday for the year. He makes his $1 million and go back to his cave. So hopefully we see him more than once. They say he's fought 2 times in 3.5 years.
Dang, that's wild.
Somebody with that talent, that is wild.
Yeah, I mean we'll see, man. We'll see. I think that'd be a good matchup for either one of them. You know, whoever wins that fight, that is. But we'll see. That's gonna be a hell of a fight in itself. As we had Mr. Mars on not too long ago.
And then we shift gears to, as you like to say, #MMA fans. Yet another guy getting a win because he didn't want to get hit, but he did what he had to do. But yeah, he get talked about because he got his hands raised and he ain't take no punishment. What is wrong with y'all people? This is a sport. This is not entertainment. He won the damn fight easily, convincingly. And you want to talk bad about this man because he didn't want to take no chances and get, as Tyron would say, climbed up like a tree.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird, man. These MMA fans, sometimes they're a little silly. They don't realize who the opponents. You know, like opponent like Damian Maia, he's not an easy out for anybody. Like you have to fight him in an ugly way. The only guy that made it look easy was Anderson Silva, and that's when Anderson Silva was on his full-on Matrix shit. So it's not like anybody's just out there going out there and doing this Damian Maia. Like, yeah, Kobe Covington got him, but like, let's be real. If you want to win a fight against Damian Maia, you gotta be a lot more cautious than you are with anybody, because he'll get you on the ground and wrap you up for the entire round. Like, if he gets you down there, you're not getting up. Like, the ref had to break up the abdominal stretch he had when he had Kamaru locked up.
Yeah, I was gonna get a WWE.
Yeah. Yeah. He had to get the crowd pump. He had to start shaking the fist. Like, start hulking up out of the abdominal stretch. I'm gonna get it. I'm getting out.
But I bet you too. People
throw the elbow to the sternum. Hip toss.
For people that probably start watching MMA about like the last 2 or 3 years, I bet you it's weird seeing Damian Maia pull guard like it's 2010 again.
Yeah, Damian.
He like did it like multiple times.
That's because Damian, I mean, he is what he is at this point. He's a legend in the sport, obviously. But like everybody, like the book's out on him. It's been out on him, and at this point, he's not. It's not like he's gonna add any more new tools to his arsenal right now. At 40 years old, man, he's not gonna be learning different takedowns. He's not gonna be adding some more athleticism to his game. You know, it is what it is at this point. If he can get you to the ground, it's a wrap. If you can't, I mean, that's what it is. You'll most likely have a path to victory. But, you know, it's for me, I thought Kamaru looked good after the first round. After he figured out, you know, okay, I can't let him touch me. I can't let him wrap me up in any way. And then that's what he did. You know, and the striking, people were talking about the striking too. The striking is going to look awkward. You can't fully commit to strikes when a guy is like Damian's one good thing that he has, and it's probably still the best out of anybody in MMA, is his timing on the shots. Like, he may not have the most athletic shots in the world still, but his timing on those takedowns is damn near perfect. So you can't fully commit to takedowns. Or you can't fully commit to strikes and power shots all the time, because if he slips under one punch, boom, he's got your legs. Yeah. He's got your hips. Like, it's...
Kamaru, his wrestling game is a lot more, like... It's one thing to say they got the most dominant wrestler in the division, but like a couple of times, he locked up with him. He has Maya in the middle of the cage. He got all the way to the against the cage, got out of it, and boom, it's like, get out of me. Like the first round, when he was kind of struggling to get a read on him, and after that, he just started flat out stuffing him. Like, come here, son. He was like getting I like what's called in boxing the rabbit punching. It's legal in MMA. Yeah. He was getting them in. He was doing work though. It's like, why did he just start doing it? Those little shots in the dude were doing damage, and he just stopped.
I mean, I don't know. It is what it is. But like another thing along with the striking as well, what he said right after the fight, he broke his right hand early, and then he broke his other hand. So he's out there fighting for 3.5 rounds, I think he was. 3.5 rounds with 2 broken hands. Still keeping Damian Maia off of you. Like, come on, man. Like, I know everybody wants to bag on Kamaru because they don't like, you know, his 30% thing, and people are still using that. People are saying, oh, we still only got 50% of him because he only had 2 hands. Like, all right, whatever. I get it's going to be a joke.
Hey, he balled. He's going to get a call, though, people. Be on the lookout. He will be in there. He balled. He get a call. We don't just be talking about it. We be about it.
Yeah, I get it's going to be a joke for him, but, you know, it is what it is. Hey, look good. We'll see where he lines up with next.
Miss Suarez, that to me, that was a star tonight. It's one thing that doing what she did, but, like, everybody was expecting it, so it's nothing to do it when people expect it. I think that's actually harder.
I expected her to win the fight. I was picking her to win the fight, but I didn't expect her to absolutely maul Alexa Grasso like that.
Well, a lot of people were, though. She was the highest favorite on the card. And I just really like glanced at the odds. I was like, oh, okay.
It's wild, though, because...
I didn't study him, but I know she was the highest favorite on the card.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't know that either, honestly. I didn't look at any of the lines for this card. I usually check them out, but for whatever reason, I didn't for this card.
You broke?
No. I mean, I haven't bet on a fight since I was in Vegas, man, honestly.
226. We got to rekindle that flame.
Yeah. No, we'll see. But, I mean, she absolutely just completely dominated the fight. And, I mean, she looks like she could fight in 125. Just absolutely dwarfed over Miss Alexa Grasso wherever the fight went. I mean, it was just too much for her. You know, the athleticism, the intensity, you know, the way she was attacking. It was just flawless performance for her. And hopefully she gets back in there soon and keeps climbing that ladder. She's currently ranked number 12. Again, on the UFC rankings, which are different. The UFC rankings that they have on the website are different than the ones that they show on Fox, which is a little frustrating. So I don't understand that whatsoever, why they're different.
You see aggravated by that.
It is. It's stupid. Like, the rankings are bad as it is, but, like, if you can't provide your TV audience with the same audience...
Yeah, it makes it like it's make-believe.
Exactly. I mean, they really are in a way. But, you know.
What do you think about the Tyrant and Kamaru? Because he's trying to be respectful, and then Tyrant doing all the shenanigans. It's like... I don't know. It's like it seems like and I'm pro Tyron, but every time he has an opponent, he tries to be very dismissive. It's like, just do what you got to do. Like, to me, he's not in a position to be being dismissive. He's not a household name. Just because you're on TMZ every day doesn't mean you're a household name. Like, I understand he definitely is a champ, and he's striving to be one of the best welterweights, if not the best. He has to put in some more work. But the fact that you act like this man shouldn't even be in the cage with you just because he wants your belt, he ain't stop all that.
Yeah, that's
you ain't whooping people's ass. You ain't doing the Anderson Silva whooping people's ass like that.
That's Tyron's thing, though. He's always done that. He did that to Wonder Boy after, you know, that Wonder Boy's like, oh, I think you should go fight Robbie Lawler now. Like, he does that. Like, he's gonna always be dismissive of his opponents. Like, that's kind of his shtick, and it's, I don't know. It gets more people interested. I think it gets some people more riled up about it. Like kind of like you are right now. You're like, oh, But you don't think you can belong in the cage with him? Oh shoot, let Kamaru show you a thing or two. But
I think it'd be a more of a reward than what people think. I think he has the best because he has the IQ and athleticism to stay with them. But Tyron's got the overall skills. He got more tools in his shed, and a lot of people don't realize like that was a big spot for Kamaru. But it's hard, that big stage when the lights come on. I think that's what's going to be the difference on Wonder Boy. I think our boy Wonder Boy, not only is he just a better fighter, but he's used to that. He ain't fought basically in one of his adopted homes in New York at MSG for the belt in the biggest fight of his life. Damn, they got choked out as he told us. So going to Liverpool, that's a piece of cake.
Yeah, we'll see how that all plays out. But I mean, let's touch on a couple of other fights real quick. Dominic Reyes finished Jared Cannonier.
Dominic, come on the show, brother. We want you, man. We holler at you in Oklahoma City, man. I love that guy. All he does is finish fights.
Very, very much needed in the light heavyweight division. We need somebody surging that's just knocking cats out, and that's what Dominic Reyes is doing. I want to point out this before we get into our debut. So, the thing I love about these crowds and these new areas, man, like the Chilean crowd went absolutely crazy for Diego Rivas. It was nuts. Like that's the loudest I've heard a crowd in I don't know how long. Anytime he was putting combinations together, you thought the roof was about to come off the place. But fight IQ wise, he's got a lot to work on. He ended up taking that L. Andrea Lee made her debut, man. She looked really good. This is a chick.
Are you high on her?
What's that?
Are you high on her?
Yeah. I've seen her. Like I saw her fight 5 years ago. She was fighting on the same card in which I had 3 of my training partners fight on, and she looked really good. It was back then. I was like, if she can string together a couple wins on this regional scene, she'd be in the UFC soon. So it was really good to see her get on that big stage, get the win, and not only get the win, but get the bonus as well. So you show up on the UFC debut, get a bonus, all that good stuff, man. It's a good thing. It kind of unfortunate she didn't get an interview in the cage, but very, very glad to see Andrea Lee doing her thing.
Is she a cowgirl? Like what's the cowboy hat get?
Yeah,
is she a cowgirl? Is
yeah,
that her name?
From Louisiana, Texas girl. She's like Louisiana girl basically because in Bossier, where she trains, Bossier and Shreveport where she trains, like that's where I used to train, and her nickname KGB. She got that nickname from her husband because she looks like she's Russian. She does have a little bit of a Russian look to her face, so she got that.
she can pass for Valentina's cousin.
Yeah, she can pass for that. She can pass for that. But yeah, that's her nickname. And I mean, the thing is, like, she's really, really well rounded. Like, she's got a strong jiu-jitsu game, strong striking game. My only thing with her, just analyze, like, you watch some of her past fights. Like,
so the first time I saw a fight was last night. Yeah,
so she does look to strike and exchange a lot. Like, she'll like to slug it out at times, which can get her kind of caught up. But she's still, she's smooth with her transitions, man. There was a back tick she had in that fight that was just amazing. It was like I think it was from a head and arm choke, it kind of went to the ground, and she just ended up, jumped on her back, started searching for the rear naked, like, smooth transitions, man. So she's going to be somebody to keep an eye on for sure for everybody out there. Very strong debut against a previously undefeated.
That's one thing. With Tatiana, I wonder if she got enough firepower to get those strikers and the Joannas and the Carolinas. She got enough firepower to deal with them. You think?
That's the thing. We'll have to see it, but I mean, she's definitely got the pedigree in terms of like black belts and things like that outside the cage. But will it translate against those types of talents?
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We haven't really said that's what well the only thing as much as I'm not high on Mackenzie Dern, that I want to see is like we can see somebody other than Ronda. We haven't, because everybody like what she did was that easy, but we haven't seen no one trick ponies in the women's side really. Besides that,
yeah, well,
that I'm talking about that bit on that level. Like we seen some, but we ain't seen them last on and do what she did and defend belts 6 times and shit.
It's not like that we don't have like the one trick ponies. Is that we just don't have a lot of females that are high level at being well rounded. Like you'll have one that's pretty decent at striking, pretty decent ground game, but putting it all together, it's not all there. You know what I mean? So it's like, Mackenzie's got the elite ground game, but girls like Valentina, like good everywhere. Amanda, good everywhere. Obviously, she's got a title around her waist for a reason. So, we'll see how it plays out, man. But that was pretty much the main standouts for me on the card in UFC Chile. Was there anything else that kind of stood out to you or anything like that? Or
No, just like that. Right? The UFC got a lot of momentum building, man. I'm really hoping that we both can be out there for International Fight Week, man. I'm really pumped for that whole week, that card. If you listen to our show, regardless of what part of the world you at, go to Vegas that week. If you're a real MMA fan, it's like MMA fan paradise. Like the fighters just be walking down the strip and that accessible as hell. They want to see you. They're excited to see the fans, and the fans want to see them, which is cool. This will be my 5th one to go to in a row.
Cool story. Like when I was there 2 years ago, yeah, like you're saying, like especially at the fighter convention, like they have the convention thing going on.
Yeah,
like literally anybody and everybody's there walking around.
Everybody except for like John Jones and Anderson Silva.
Yeah, and unless if you see somebody like with their PR guy, like literally whisking them away, if they're walking around, they're very approachable. Like they want to be approached. Like that's one of the cool things that I witnessed the first time I was there.
And you see how big people get or how little people are. Like
yeah,
I saw V20 first starting on TRT like. Let me see your arms.
Yeah.
It was a couple years ago, and then on the other end, I see my girl Kat Tangano, and like I love me some Kat, but that thing like she weighed 170, 170 between fights.
Girl. She's a big girl.
That's crazy.
But yeah, 2 years ago, I ran into our guest on the show today, Neil Magny. He was burning out. He had just got through doing a signing, I believe, and I stopped him. I was like, "Hey man, can I get a quick interview?" Because I was doing stuff for their MMA latest. Then I was like, "Hey man, can I get a quick interview with you or whatever?" And this was before, obviously I think this was the first time I met him in person. And he's like, yeah, like, when do you want to do it? I was like, well, I don't know. You want to, like, exchange numbers?
Like now.
I was like, let's just exchange info. He's like, oh, okay, well, we can do that. Or, let's do it right now, too. And so there we were. And, like, nobody recognized it was Neil at first. So here I am, like, a couple minutes later doing an interview with Neil with my camera up. And then by the time me and him are done with this interview that took like 5 minutes, we look around, we got a circle of people around us. Like, I was like, sorry, bro. And then I just ran. I was like, appreciate it, but sorry. So he had to deal with the crowd of people after that. But it was what it was, man.
Yeah, that's one thing. There's a lot of stuff UFC that does that's kind of like rankings and stuff. Like, make you scratch your head. But the way they really do believe in their fans, that stuff is legit. They get A+ all the way across the board. Like when they in NYC, they have a lot of big things. You gotta see a fight at the Garden, man. You gotta go in November.
Oh, yeah.
Like you hear the Mystique, Madison Square Garden, the Mecca, and all that stuff. I thought it was a myth. The 2 times I've been in there, it's like, did that just happen?
Yeah.
But it's like, and then like last year we had the Conor, or 2 years ago we had the Conor fight. And I was like, it's because it's Conor. That's why. Who cares? It happened to be NYC. But this year, no Conor. No buzz. It's like, no. And then I walked in there on fight night, just like, some shit is about to go down. And then we had 3 title fights and 3 new champions. I ain't gonna never forget that.
Yeah.
Like, you just felt when you walked in the Garden that night, something was gonna go down.
Epic stuff, man. Epic stuff. So let's get into our interviews, man. We have 3 guests for you guys on this episode. First up, we'll have Mr. Neil Magny, who's going to battle this weekend at UFC Liverpool. Then we'll have Belal Muhammad coming up. He's hopping on UFC Utica in New York. Utica, not the big New York, but New York State. And then James Vick and UFC Idaho. So all those interviews are coming up, guys. Please like, subscribe, share the show. Follow us on YouTube, Spreaker, iTunes, at Slip and Dip Podcast, on Twitter, at Kendrick Johnson on Twitter, at Mr. M. Wells Art on Twitter. And we're all on Instagram as well. So hit us up. Let us know. We appreciate all the comments, all the love we're getting on YouTube. YouTube channel's starting to grow a little bit more. So we're starting to do a few more things with the presentation. As you can kind of see that we're trying out some new stuff.
Trying to grow the show.
Trying out some new stuff. But we'll see how it ended up working. But check it out, guys. We got 3 fantastic interviews coming up for you guys. And that will be episode number 53 for you. Anything else before we get into them, Kendrick?
No, it's ready to do this.
Here we come.
Please welcome back once again to the Slip and Dip Podcast, a friend of the show. He will be co-headlining this weekend's UFC Liverpool card, Mr. Neil Magny. Neil, give us some insight to all this fight changing stuff and getting this newcomer that a lot of people don't know about.
Man, I'm just glad to finally have an opponent. I mean, from time that I first thought I was gonna fight and who I thought I was gonna fight initially, till now. I'm just glad that I finally have an opponent, and I'm a little over a week away now, and I can look forward to fighting someone finally. When this fight was first offered to me, I thought it was gonna be in Chile against a different opponent, and here we are, two opponents later, fighting a UFC newcomer.
Why is it a big deal to stay active, and what do you do that the UFC allows you to stay active? Because a lot of these dudes talk about they want to be active, but you lucky if you see them twice in a year. We see you like 4 times a year.
At the end of the day, I mean, a lot of people would say they want to stay active, but when it really comes down to it, they don't want to stay active. Their actions will speak louder than their words. I mean, you can't sit there and say you want to stay active and end up being 30 pounds overweight, and then an opportunity comes your way. It's like, oh well, I would take it, but here, can we make it a catch weight, or can we do this? Can we do that? Like, no, you're not ready for the opportunity. You're saying you're ready, but your actions are saying something completely different.
Absolutely. What do you know about this guy? I mean, just looking at his record, it looks like he's won his last 4 in a row, all by stoppage, 3 submissions win, one knockout. But have you watched tape on him or anything like that?
I watched a couple of videos on him. The coaches watched some video on him, based on what they were able to find. He seemed like a pretty game opponent. He prefers the submission game, but he appears to be pretty well rounded. I mean, going into this fight, he's gonna be a tall guy as well, so. Definitely give me a little bit of a challenge in the reach department there. His wrestling seems to be on point. He gets a lot of his fights to the ground to work his submission game. So I'm excited to have a game opponent going forward.
Very cool. When are you heading out, man? I mean, we're talking to you now on Sunday, and the fight's obviously next Sunday. So when are you heading out across the
Tuesday afternoon, and I get to Liverpool Wednesday morning.
Okay. So not much of getting acclimated to the time change and stuff like that, I guess?
No, not too much. Having traveled in the past for fights, I realized that I don't really need that much time to get acclimated. At the end of the day, it just allows me to be able to rest more. I mean, I might fly into town and then be able to sleep 12, 14 hours a day. So for a guy who's cutting weight, this would be a great feeling for me.
Absolutely.
How big a deal is the fact that the UFC kept you in that co-headlining spot? Does that mean a big thing, or does that affect your money, or just something like to let you know that they believe in you and trust in you with this being a pretty high-profile card for it not to be a pay-per-view?
I think that's exactly right there. I mean, the fact that UFC chose to keep me on the co-main event slot just shows that they believe me for me to go out there and put on a great show for the fans of Liverpool. I mean, this is the first time the UFC's ever been in Liverpool. They wanted to stack this card with some pretty good fighters, some local talent, some guys from the UFC roster they know bring it every single fight. So I'm actually pretty honored that they bent over backwards to find an opponent to keep me on this card and give me this opportunity to go out there and compete now.
Of course, we know you got your eyes focused on Mr. White, but what do you think about the shift in this division? Like all these big fights over the next about month, the next 3 weeks, basically.
I think it's great. This is a great thing for the division. I mean, for a while now, the division's been pretty stagnant. There wasn't much going on. So now that we have all these fighters stepping up and all these great fights happening, I think we're heading in the right direction. I mean, with all these fights playing out the way they have been playing out, it just gets more people talking about the welterweight division, gets more eyes on the welterweight division, and just sets the stage for us to go out there and perform now.
Absolutely, man. So I would assume that you watched the fights last night?
Yeah, absolutely.
And what'd you think about the main event there, man? What'd you make of Kamaru versus Maia?
He fought Damian Maia the way he has to fight Damian Maia. I mean, I've been a guy that fought Damian Maia and lost to Damian Maia in the past. I know firsthand what it's like to fight a guy like that. If you don't stick to the game plan, if you don't make it a boring fight or knock him out early, it's going to be a long night for you. So I can't really complain much about what Usman did in the fight against Damian Maia, because that's exactly how you beat a guy like that. A guy's like so dangerous on the ground, prefers to be on the ground, and he kind of makes it difficult for you to avoid taking him down and stand a strike with him. So I feel like Usman did exactly what he needed to do to win that fight in order to keep moving forward. Had I been a little more patient, I would have probably won against Maia the same way, but I just didn't have that in me to fight that way. So hats off to him for getting the job done.
Yep. Yeah, man. I think a lot of people are kind of giving Kamaru you see some people hashtag MMA fans, going to be hashtag MMA fans, talking about another boring Kamaru fight. Like, people don't realize how tough it is to fight Damian Maia. And I mean, like you just said, you've been in there against him. You understand how tricky he can be. Like, he's a guy, like, if he can get a hold of you, like, and get you down, like, there's a good chance you're going to be down there for the rest of the round, if not tapped out. So it's very hard to look good against a guy like that, man. So if you get the job done, you get the job done against a guy like that, in my opinion.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's no. It's not like anyone going to fight with Dave Maia doesn't know what to expect. I mean, he's gonna try to submit you. At the end of the day, this was going to happen. So it's no surprise that fight played out the way it did. I mean, it's either you get a long drawn out decision, knock him out, or get submitted by him. Like there's not many options going in a fight with Dave Maia.
Yeah, for sure.
Was it just of course it wasn't true, but did you get linked to fighting Johnny? Because that fight didn't make no sense. You already beat him recently.
Oh wait, what was that? Sorry.
So I saw someone had you that you were gonna fight Johnny. That he was gonna step up and take the fight. Was that just a rumor, or that's something?
Yeah, that was definitely a rumor. That was definitely a rumor. There was no talk whatsoever about
Did you see that though?
No, I mean the main one I seen was the whole Masvidal situation, and then there's been a couple of guys jumping up saying no, take the fight, but. At the end of the day, I mean, I went right to the source. I mean, I didn't beat around the bush and stay on social media too long. I went right to Sean Show in UFC. He's like, hey, man, who do you want me to fight? What do you want me to do? What's the plan? And we just kind of stayed in communication and figured it out.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird spot, man. I get, like, you know, you want to stay active. Like, you're currently ranked number 9 on the UFC's page. Apparently, the rankings that they show on Fox are completely different. I found that out last night. But so I mean. Like, yeah, think of, like, things that just happened recently, right? So, you had, his name's John Blake. Yair Rodriguez. Wow, I just drew a blank. Like, you know, he's a ranked guy that, like, apparently turned down a fight, and he gets cut. And you're, you know, a top 10 guy, like, willing to fight a newcomer, like, just to, like, on short notice. So, it's like, you would have to think that the UFC has to give you throw you a bone here, like, if you get this dub, right?
At the end of the day, no. I mean, they don't owe me. I'm a fighter, and they set the stage for me to go out there and fight. I don't necessarily feel like they owe me anything for doing so. I mean, they just gave me an opportunity, and I get to go out there and make the best of it. And if I beat the brakes off of Craig White, then that's going to earn me the next thing that I want, whether it's a bonus or the fight that I want. That'll be the goal, and that's the thing that I can control. At the end, I mean, I feel like me taking this chance against the newcomer is what everyone who's a fan of the sport wants, but no one wants to step up and do. Constantly you hear people complain about UFC not being able to allow other organizations to compete with them. And here you are, you have a top 10 guy who's fighting a guy who's ranked in another promotion, was about to fight for their title. He's jumping over to fight for the UFC now against the ranked guy. And that's what people hypothetically say they want, but when it happens, they're like, oh no, why is that happening? Why is he not fighting someone who's ranked? Why isn't he fighting someone who's been in the UFC longer? Like, that's just the name of the game. And we want to be able to have not necessarily rivals with the UFC, but have other organizations that fighters can jump over to UFC and compete with the best. And that's what we're going to see this weekend. I get to compete against one of the best fighters out of UK right now.
Tell me this, Neil. When God, we know you don't talk noise and nothing like that. That's not your style. But would you, if you do what you do and beat the brakes off of him, are you gonna be on that mic and be like, you don't have to get ready when you stay ready?
I mean, like we said earlier, like a lot of people say they want to fight often and they want to fight as often as possible, whatever it may be, but no one's stepping up to it. No one's actually doing what it takes to fight that often. I want to go out there and do just that. Like, I have my mindset on going out there and perform well against Craig White, and after that, just continue moving forward. I want to get, God willing, if I'm not injured or anything else like that after the fight, I want to come back to the gym and keep working forward. I mean, I know my job as a fighter isn't done yet. I know my goals aren't met yet, and I want to keep climbing the ranks, keep moving forward towards that title shot. So Craig White is just another person standing in front of me in my goals. So it's go out there, perform well against him, beat him, and then keep moving forward.
Are you gonna vocalize this after the fight?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I feel like at this point, closed mouths don't get fed. I mean, I've been in the position too many times before. I mean, and the sad thing is, like, even if I do vocalize it, nothing may turn up of it. But at the end of the day, all I can do is control myself. I know after I go out there and express what I want, I need to be ready for that opportunity when it comes and presents itself. I can't go out there and say, oh, give me so and so next, and be like, oh well, I need 3 months to train for that guy. They tell me if I beat night for a particular opponent, and he'd be ready. They tell me he'd be ready to fight this guy in 2 weeks, whatever it may be.
So, what do you think of the main event? Obviously, another huge fight in the welterweight division right now. Yeah, it's weird considering Wonder Boy's ranked number 1, yet he's not in the interim title fight. So another weird rankings thing again. But what do you think of that matchup between him and Till? Who do you see walking out of that victorious?
I think it'd be a great fight. I mean, at the end of the day, what it come down to is the range. I mean, if Till's able to close that range early, it'd be a long night for Wonderboy. But if Wonderboy is able to establish that range early on in the fight and keep his distance, it'd be a frustrating night for Till. So sitting back and watching this fight in the back room, I know it's going to come down to the distance. Whichever guy's able to control that distance early on in the fight will be the guy that wins the fight.
Absolutely. Do you think you could possibly get matched up with either the winner or the loser of that fight?
Winner or loser, it doesn't matter. I mean, I just want to keep moving forward and keep getting closer to that title shot. I know I had my own mishaps and slip-ups, but I want to be able to put that behind me and keep moving forward.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So I mentioned the interim title fight. I don't know if you've seen the promo package, but you kind of mentioned there a minute ago, the closed mouths don't get fed, and half of that promo was Colby Covington just talking his trash. So you kind of see it's like something that the UFC embraces. But all that kind of stuff aside, like who do you like in that fight?
It's weird because that fight, I'm completely biased. I mean, I want my shot at RDA again, but at the same time, I want RDA to just slap up Cody Covington. So it's kind of really pick like, who I want to win that fight, because I'm just completely biased. And I mean, at the end of the day, may the best man win, and I just want to fight either one of those guys one day.
Yeah, very cool.
It's like you legit in fight mode, Neil. Like you want to fight anybody right now. Anybody can get it from Mr. Magny.
That's pretty much the mindset right now. I mean, I had 3 different opponents over the last 3 months, and at this point, I mean, I'm totally focused on Craig White. That's the guy who I'm supposed to be fighting at this point. But I've seen strange things happen during the fight week, so my mindset's pretty much set on me going out there and performing well against whoever it may be.
So, like, having that flight to go overseas and everything, I mean, you say you don't need a lot of time to get acclimated, but, like, how does that affect your weight cut? Like, is flying across the world, just a couple days out before you got to get on the scale?
It's not too drastic. I mean, I'm not one of those guys that walk around 30, 25 pounds overweight where I have to be sitting in the sauna for 12 hours to make weight. So for me, it won't be that big of a deal at all. I mean, one of the pluses is that they actually speak English over in Liverpool. So find the foods that I need. So that would be pretty helpful. I know in the past, like fighting in places like the Philippines or Brazil, it's been pretty difficult to try to communicate to the cooks or the chefs how I need my meals prepared. So I don't think that'd be an issue in going to Liverpool this time. So that's something I can look forward to.
Yeah, I guess it is a lot easier to not have to worry about, hey, got to find a translator to get you your stuff, or have to order it through somebody else. So I guess that's first.
In Brazil, where I tried to order food without salt, and the guy for some reason thought it said extra salt, and he literally brought out the saltiest piece of meat I've ever had in my life, and I was just like, man, how do I communicate this guy that no, I meant no salt, like at all. Just like give me a plain piece of meat. Like don't even throw any seasoning on it. Don't even put it in any oil. Just throw it in the hot pan and bring it out to me. That's all I want. But somehow he mixed it up and did the exact opposite and doubled it. So I don't think that'll be the issue in Liverpool all this week.
Now, you've been a road warrior your whole career. Do you attribute that to like staying ready and fighting, but training at altitude?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I said you've been a road warrior. You fight all over the country, all over the world, your whole career. Do you attribute being staying ready and having that altitude advantage to be able to fight in all these different countries?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the huge thing that I can take into a lot of my fights, being able to train altitude. I mean, I know some people fight in places like Mexico City. I mean, if you get a call to fight in Mexico City on 2 weeks' notice, majority of people are going to turn that down, rightfully so. I mean, it takes a while to get acclimated to that level of altitude and that kind of thing. So it could be a deterrence for a lot of people going into a fight, taking something short notice. But training in an environment that I do in Colorado and training in a room with guys that I train with in Colorado, I feel like that prepares me for any challenge that comes my way.
Get some insight to how y'all team's doing. Y'all been on a little hot streak lately.
Yeah, the team's doing great. I mean, a lot of the up-and-comers are going out there and pretty much making their name known. I mean, we have middleweights that are on 3-fight win streak. We have lightweights that are taking belts from every organization that they can. I mean, we have 155er Austin Hubbard, who literally goes city to city, state to state, just collecting belts. He's like, "Who's your champ? I want to fight him." And you go to his room, and this kid literally has a wall full of belts that he's taken from all different types of organizations, and there's no stopping him. Like at times, I'll look back, it's like, "Hey, man, I don't think you necessarily need this belt." He's like, "I know, but I want it." He'll go out there and he'll get it. So having that kind of team, having that kind of mentality, only pushes me to be better myself.
That's real cool. That's real cool. It's, Neil, I want to ask you about on your Instagram, you posted up this quote: "If the UFC is able to find me an opponent for May 27th, I'll donate $15,000 of my fight purse to help this little girl and get her family get the care that she needs." So, what's the story behind this?
So there's a link on it on my page that goes into a little more detail, but to briefly touch on it. So my old wrestling coach, Leister Bowling, he has some friends from college who they have a little girl who's going through a difficult time right now. She has a disease that affects her spine. It's called spinal muscular atrophy, and it pretty much it affects her whole body. I mean, her nerves, her spinal system, her brain, like it affects her whole body. And my coach and some other people started a GoFundMe to help this little girl and her family get the care that she needs, just because it's the survival rate for this particular disease is very low. And the amount of care that this girl needs and the amount of travel that her family's doing to be able to get her the care she needs is just, man, it's overwhelming. Like, there's certain things that insurance just won't cover. I mean, this girl is seeing doctors from Colorado to Missouri to Illinois. Like, she's traveling anywhere she can, or even in Nebraska. She's traveling everywhere she can. Her family get the care that she needs, and after a while, it gets pretty expensive. I mean, having to take your family on the road, you need a place to stay. You need to be able to get meals. You can't be at work every day because your daughter has doctor's appointments in different states, different cities, and things like that. So this GoFundMe was set up to help her family and herself get the care that she needs. And I just felt like if I'm going to support something like that, if I'm going to be a guy that constantly has things out there, I should be able to lead from the front and actually donate what I can as well. I mean, I know everyone can't donate the amount that I'm donating, but at the end of the day, every small amount that someone's able to make towards this girl's fight that she's going through is going to help her out drastically. So I figured I'll take lead on that. I'll make a donation. I'll encourage others to do the same as well.
Man, that's amazing.
Hey, that's why you one of the nicest guys in the MMA game. You may throw somebody's face, but hey, you keep it real.
For sure. Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Wow. Yeah. So definitely everybody out there listening, man, check that out. It's on Neil's Instagram right now. The link's on there. You can go to Neil_Magny170. I think you got the link on your Twitter as well, right?
Yeah, it's on my Twitter, it's on my Facebook, it's on my Instagram. If you guys click on there, you can find a little bit more backstory on this particular little girl and see how you guys can help her out.
Man, that's awesome. That is awesome, man. I wish we'd see stuff like this more often, man. It's so cool. So yeah, definitely, I'm gonna check that out as soon as we get done with this interview, man. That's pretty sweet. So, yeah, man. So what else, man? I mean, like you said, your final preparations, man. What's your last couple of days look like before you head on over to London or to Liverpool rather?
At this point, just kind of chill, sit back. I mean, the work's already done. Like one of my coaches would say, the hay's in the barn. There's not much else to do at this point. But kind of like count the days down and make weight. I mean, it's pretty much done at this point. I get to go out there, have fun, and enjoy the moment. I mean, this is something that I worked for so long. This is an opportunity that I'm blessed with to go out there and do what I love. So right now, just wait my time and take advantage of it.
Very cool.
Definitely appreciate you coming on as always, man. Friend of the show, and we're looking forward to you getting that win. We got some new things for you. You're gonna get your special intro because when you ball, you're gonna get that call.
For sure. Definitely looking forward to coming back on here after this win.
There he is, guys. Neil Magny taking on Craig White this weekend, UFC Liverpool.
Hold on, say that again. Craig White.
I mean, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
He said a little crook right there. He said a little crook.
But yeah, going down UFC Fight Night 130, UFC Liverpool, Neil Magny. currently number 9, I think, based on the UFC's rankings, which could be different than the live ones they show on Fox, but it is what it is. Neil, thanks for coming on the show, man. We really appreciate it, and best of luck this weekend.
No problem. Thanks for having me on, guys. Have a good one.
All right, appreciate it. Staying with the theme, friends, and join the house again, Matt. We got our man straight from T-Town back in Texas, James, the Texas-cutioner, Vick. Congratulations on your last win. And what's your mindset? You already got booked. You're going to be fighting Paul Felder at UFC Idaho. To talk about being that big stage, because it seems like whoever wins that fight will be getting another big fight. It's kind of like y'all fighting to fight a top 5 opponent. Would you say is that what they kind of told y'all?
Man, they didn't tell us anything. I hope so. I mean, everything's going good. You know, the Trinaldo fight, I came in, you know, I won a fight to tough dude. I'm expecting, you know, they ended up ranking me number 10. I'm expecting to get a big name guy. And then, I mean, don't get me wrong, Paul Felder's got a good name, mostly more because he's a commentator than his fighting. I mean, he has a lot of wins. I mean, he has a lot of wins in the UFC, you know, but I mean, it's like it just really doesn't move, you know, that much, you know, move me up that much. I'm not sure it will, you know, to be honest with you. So hopefully it does. The one thing is where the fight is at, where the co-main event on the card. So that's a good thing. And then I'm hoping, you know, I can get it going here, get this win, and then I'm hoping I can turn around and get a main event spot.
Absolutely. So we had Paul on the show. I think it was 2 weeks ago now.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, and you know, obviously he was pretty complimentary and of your skills and everything like that, and he's worried about, you know, obviously the clinch game. So what are some of the things, you know, when you look at Paul's game that you're seeing, not as necessarily as a concern, but, you know, areas that you got to really focus on?
He said he was worried about the clinch game.
Well, he said, you know, obviously, like my question to him was about, you know, your size being so much bigger than him, you know, the height and the things like that, worrying about the fight and the clinch. You know, I was asking him, did he see that like an area of concern, and he agreed. And, you know, I was just wondering, you know, what part of his game do you see that could be, you know, challenging to you?
That's interesting you said that, because I'm thinking that he's going to try to clinch me. I mean, obviously, I think he's going to come out with a good, you know, heavy low kick strategy. You know, everyone tries to do that to me because I move a lot. So I think he's going to come out trying to, land a bunch of low kicks. And then I think when that doesn't work for him, my movement's too good. I think he's going to try. You know, I think he's going to try to clinch me and try to put me on the fence, and probably, obviously, not knee with me just because I'm taller, but try to throw some sneaky elbows and do stuff like that, and maybe try to wrestle a little bit. You know.
James, wouldn't it be safe to say that y'all have some mutual respect, because y'all both are pretty avoided in the division and kind of stuck in that same boat? Or do you think it's another thing? Because you definitely, from what I heard behind the scenes from my sources, you, Kamaru Usman, are two of the most avoided fighters in any weight class in the whole UFC, and Paul's kind of in that boat too.
Oh, for sure. I think, yeah. I mean, Kamaru is definitely realistically. The Terry he's been on, he should be fighting for the world title next. You know what I'm saying? I mean, of course, you know, they're not, you know, they're avoiding him too, you know, just like I'm being avoided. I mean, and Felder, I wouldn't say Felder's being avoided, but I mean, you know, Felder's a tough fight. He's a good dude. He has 7 wins in the UFC. You know, he's well rounded. All of his fights have really, besides the Ronaldo fight where it ended up being a cut. You know, he got cut, and so they had to stop the fight. He's lost decisions, you know, and he's never been stopped, and he's a tough dude. You know, he can fight, and a lot of people aren't, you know, just jumping at the door to fight him. I think that more people would be willing to fight him than me, though, for sure. But I mean, yeah, it gets annoying sitting here trying to get these guys to fight you. I mean, I shouldn't have to sit here and campaign for these fights. I mean, I have the same record in the UFC as McGregor and Yoel Romero both do. We're all 9-1 in the UFC. I have the same record as him. I shouldn't have to sit here and beg for fights. It's kind of a joke, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I guess kind of the crazy thing is, like, you know, I know you spoke on it on Twitter a little bit. You know, you hear Yair Rodriguez get cut for turning down fights, or 1 or 2 fights, and you've always been talking about this, about you can't get a guy to fight you. You can't get any of these guys to fight you. And you kind of chimed in. You were like, well, one of these, they cut these guys and won't fight me. You know? But I guess, I mean, what do you think about that, though? I mean, when you see a guy like Yair, who's obviously, they put a lot of promotion behind, just get cut, out of the blue because he wouldn't take a fight that they wanted him to take.
Yeah, I don't think that he's realistically going to be cut very long. I think that I don't even know if they really cut him. I think that they may be talking all that. It really is kind of wrong. I guarantee you, but I mean that's the way the UFC operates. It is what it is, and they're trying to make him out look like he's some kind of punk for not taking the fight. I guarantee you, it has something to do with money. I guarantee you, they basically probably didn't want to pay him what he wanted to be paid. You're asking him to fight that Zabit dude. He's a bad motherfucker. He's a killer. The dude can fight. And I guarantee you, Yair is too. Though I guarantee Yair's not afraid to fight him, but he's thinking, well, why am I going to fight a guy that doesn't have a big name that's ranked below me if y'all don't want to pay me? So he probably was like, well, I want to be paid, and that's probably where they're at, and that's probably why it got to the point it got to. I don't think that they're realistically going to let him go. They put, like you said, they have put a lot of money behind him, like a lot of money. He's the biggest MMA star in Latin America, pretty much, and he's only 25 years old. They're not cutting that guy very long. I guarantee.
Dan, give some insight to how does negotiation go and stuff between a fight and all that stuff that we don't see, or do you just be like some of these guys that they act like they can't go pee without talking to their manager?
Yeah, I don't have a manager. I do my stuff on my own. I'm smarter than most people. They ain't in there getting hit. They ain't in there getting punched, and it's probably different for every individual person. But a manager is always going to tell you they can get you more money than what you can get yourself, and that they really can't. And if they do, even if they did, it wouldn't be worth the percentage you're paying. They're not gonna get you enough more to cover that, unless you're talking if you're talking like major world title, multi-fight deal. If you're already a world champion or something like that, but like even in the position I'm in right now, a manager can't get me more money than I'm already getting myself.
It's interesting. I mean, I guess it has its perks, But I guess maybe some of the bigger stars. I don't know. Like, do you think you would need one if you reach that stardom of like a Conor McGregor level? You think you would need somebody then?
Oh, for sure. But here's the thing: is there's no one else going to reach that stardom of Conor McGregor either. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the dude behind him, he's a one in a million personality in the sport. There's plenty of people that are better fighters than him, but they don't have the star power. I mean, just call it what it is. The dude has a whole country behind him, and he has so many options of whatever he wants to do. And there's very few people. But I mean, world championship status, I may, but I don't. This is what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to. Like all these managers want a percentage of every fight. No, I'm trying to do a deal like most businesses and agents and stuff. I'm doing a deal. I've offered managers before. A couple of them I talked to them where I might allow you to do a one-time negotiation fee, and I'll pay you that. But I'm not giving you a percentage of every damn fight. It's not going to happen at this point in my career. And I'm doing of course. They're gonna, like I said, they're gonna say they can get you more. But if Reebok wasn't around, then maybe a manager would be worth way more. They for sure would be worth way more. And I have a man. I work with KO Reps, Knockout Representation. I work with them for sponsorship stuff, and they're very good and everything. And should Reebok disappear, then maybe I would sign a deal and allow them to negotiate and do everything across the board. But with Reebok here, the sponsors just, I mean, I get some sponsors, but you're just not going to get that many with Reebok and play when there's nothing for the sponsor. There's not very much for the sponsor,
Absolutely.
Today to spend that knowledge on us.
Yeah, for sure. What did you make of when the UFC signed this new ESPN deal? I guess you heard a lot of people speaking out about they signed this multi-million-dollar deal, and will any of that trickle down to the fighters? Has been a question. So.
I doubt it. I don't know. Honestly, I haven't thought about it much. I mean, I saw the deal, but I doubt. I mean, it ain't trickling down any more than what it is. Your deal is what your deal. They're probably not going to be up at. They're not just going to send you a random check in the mail for them to sign a deal with ESPN. So either you get a better deal, and the only way to get a better deal is just keep winning and become a champion. Basically, is the only way you're ever going to get rich in this sport.
Sure. I was just going to ask. Sorry to cut you off, Kendrick. So, is this the first time that you've ever fought in Idaho, or will it be?
Yeah, no, yeah, it is for sure. And I was just there last week for the media, the UFC media thing for a couple of days. I was there with Junior Dos Santos, and we did the pre-ticket sale media stuff. We went to a bunch of radio stations and news stations and stuff, and did a bunch of interviews. And the people in Idaho seem happy about it. It's definitely the first time I've ever been.
Absolutely. I'm sorry to cut you off. Last time I cut you off, bro. Promise. No. So hanging out with Junior, man. Like I got to do some stuff with Junior on one of those media tours, man. Isn't he like the nicest dude out ever? Like.
Oh, for sure. It's kind of his personality is kind of addictive. He's just it's like you feel yourself being happy too because he's always so happy and he's just in a good mood, man. He's just a good guy and he's always happy. And you can tell it's a good feeling to be around someone like that because he makes you realize, like it seems like him, he was already a world champion, a former world champion, probably made tons of money in the sport, but you can tell he's just still happy to be where he's at and just loves living his dream, So it was definitely, a good experience being around the guy.
For sure.
Today, since we last talked, the landscape of your division and changed. First of all, did they even call you with the whole crazy Habib-ness? I wanted to call you, but I was in the mix. I was in Brooklyn. I'm like, man, this would be good for my boy James come up from Texas and come get this belt.
Man, you know what it is, bro. Who is the two guys? Think about this. This is what people don't understand about there can't no lightweight on the roster make weight in 6 days. None of us. Why do you think they offered Brian Ortega and Holloway the fight? Because they're 45ers and they're the only ones that can make the weight. They're the only one with a halfway name, decent name that can make that weight on short notice. You notice they didn't. The only other guy that would have been a possibility would have been Poirier, just because he was fighting the weekend after and he could have made the weight, and he used to fight at 45 as well. But none of us make weight on those 6 days. That's just, that's the reality of weight cutting in MMA.
Yeah.
So no, I did not get the call. I didn't tell him we can fight it. I had to tell him I'll fight him at welterweight.
Yeah.
With the way that it's changed, I'm gonna throw our names in the top 5 and tell me how you get the job done. You named Poirier. You fight Poirier. How you get the job done?
I knock him out.
Kevin Lee.
I knock him out.
Oh, tell me this. I know he dominated against Barbosa, but do you think he got exposed with that little casual moment that almost cost him the fight?
I give him more props because he was able to survive that. I mean, that was vicious. There's not many people that could have survived that. But I think that I submit Kevin Lee as well because he shoots a lot, and if I get his neck, I'm gonna put him out.
Are you not worried about his wrestling? Because they won't put him and Habib wrestling on par with each other.
No, I know Kevin Lee can take me down, but he just like every other guy, he can't. I've been taken down a few times in fights, but nobody been able to hold me down yet. When I get my back to that cage, I'm getting up every time, and there can't and he'll gas himself out trying to hold me down. There's nobody been able to hold me down. I've been taken down in several fights, but I've been on my back in amateur, Ultimate Fighter, regional circuit, and UFC fights. Probably 25 or 30 of them. I've been in my back maybe 5 minutes in all of them combined.
Eddie Alvarez.
Knock his ass out. He's the easiest matchup up there. He's the easiest matchup.
So you call it Eddie Alvarez easy money?
Oh yeah, I would whip his ass so easily. I'm a stylistic nightmare for that dude.
Tony Ferguson.
I would either catch him with something big, or I could. The thing that with Tony Ferguson that he gives a lot of people problems for, and this is why I feel like I'm a stylistic nightmare for him too, is he breaks people with cardio and his willpower, obviously. But my cardio is as good or better than his is. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was in high school, I could run a mile in 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Every fight I've beat every fighter that I haven't knocked out. I've beat them on, but besides obviously that I haven't finished. But if I haven't submitted or knocked them out, I beat everybody on volume. I could throw 100 punches around, so I can match Tony Ferguson with cardio just as good or better than anybody in the whole division. And my jiu-jitsu's good enough. My wrestling defense is good enough. I'm better than that dude, everywhere. And my striking is way better than his.
And Habib, how would you go against the champ and get your hand raised?
See, I think that I would either gas him out and land something big, or just win a decision. Because here's the thing with him, I think that the thing that plays into my favor too is all of his he does no open mat takedowns. All of his takedowns come off the cage, and I am the hardest person in the whole division to hold down on the cage. When I get my back to that cage, I get up every time. If you go back and watch some of my fights, Nobody's been able to hold me down, and they won't. And I know that I'm pretty sure Khabib could probably take me down multiple times. But when I get my back to that cage, I'm getting up every time. And people, that's how I beat a lot of these guys, is they constantly go for takedowns, or they get me down and I get up immediately, and they either get tired or they get disheartened. They're just like, what I got to do to keep this guy down, you know? So that's definitely how I feel like, you know, I would beat every one of those guys.
Very cool.
It's our breakdown right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Hopefully we get to see you against one of those names maybe after this fight with Paul Felder. I mean, obviously if you get a win over Felder, would you hold out for one of those and not have to, you know, fight a guy that's, you know, right around the lower tier of the rankings?
Man, here's the thing, man. It's a joke, dude. I win this fight. Literally, I'm 10-1 in the UFC. How many guys do you know with that type of record in the organization? I mean, they just think for any weight class. How many?
Not many. None that come to mind.
When I win this fight, I will have basically the third best record in my whole division, because Tony Ferguson is 13-1 and Khabib is 10-0. McGregor's 9-1. I'll be 10-1 after this fight. So I'll have the third best record in the whole division, and I can't get a fucking top 10 guy to fight me. I mean, it's nuts, dude. And it's like once these guys get in the top 10, it's like they can lose amongst each other as much as they want. They're like grandfathered in, where they take. Michael Johnson took 3 losses before he fought Gaethje. He was on a 3-fight losing streak and was still ranked number 6 in the world. It's like the dudes can, you know, Gaethje right now is 1-2 in the UFC and still ranked in like number 7 in the world. Yeah. So that's probably what's going to happen. Basically, I'm going to get on the mic after I beat Paul Felder, and I'm going to be like, you know, with the record I have, I shouldn't have to fight anybody ranked below number 5. This is a fucking joke. But since none of y'all are going to fight me, everyone's running all scared and act like bitches, then give me that punching bag Justin Gaethje, because he was talking shit about me a while back, said he was going to slap me when he sees me. So he's ranked number. I mean, it's not that cool to fight someone who's coming off 2 losses, and I'm not trying to just. But the dude's talking shit, and he's still ranked number 7. I mean, I'm 9-1 in the UFC, and he's 1-2, and he's ranked fucking 4 spots above me. It's a joke, man. It's really a joke.
Here's a 2-part question. One, if you see him in the hotel, are you going to do a Habib, Ardo Native? And do you got some homeboys that can come out the country, and just in case you need someone to have your back?
If that motherfucker comes to me as homeboys, I'll start swinging on every one of them, dude. I guarantee that motherfucker, they're not. Ain't none of them coming with me putting their motherfucking hands on me. I ain't Artem Lobov, whatever the hell his name is. I'll hit any of those motherfuckers in the mouth. As soon as they get within distance to him, I'm gonna stick one of them.
And then 2, when you get on the mic, can you let them know? I've been calling this man out. I've been calling everybody out. You need to listen to the Slip and Dip podcast so you can get the real shit. I want a top 5 opponent.
Man, I've been calling him out the last 3 fights in a row. I got on there. Was it 2 fights ago? I got on there and after I knocked out Joe Duffy at Madison Square Garden. I got on there. I had to basically tell the people at the venue at Madison Square Garden how I've been calling and trolling all these guys. I basically said that, you know, I've been trolling all these guys, and I named them all. I named or not all of them, but I named like 6 different people: Poirier, Pettis, Gaethje, Evan Dunham back then when he was turning down fights with me when he was ranked above me. All these guys, and I mean, I'm almost to the point I'm trying to be like Kamaru Usman was yesterday. I mean, I'm tired. I'm getting sick of calling these motherfuckers out. I mean, it's like energy draining to sit here and put all this energy into calling dudes out because you know they're scared to fight you. You know, that's why honestly I'm gonna call them out, and I'm gonna be like, if I can get a top 5 opponent, please let one of y'all step the fuck up and fight me. You know, give me Tony Ferguson off his knee injury. You know, Khabib said he feels like Tony Ferguson needs to win one more fight, but before he gets another chance, okay, well, I'll fight that motherfucker as soon as he comes back, because that'll give me plenty of time. He'll have plenty of time to rest, and then I'll have plenty of time after my fight to rest up. And I would love to fight him, but since none of those guys are willing to fight me, then give me that punching bag Justin Gaethje, because he's the one that said he was going to slap me when he sees me. So go ahead and let's fight, and then maybe after this, I'll finally get a main event spot.
Yeah, man, it's interesting you said that about Kamaru, because when you said that about Kamaru, because I was thinking the exact same thing, because I was like, man, Kamaru and James Vick are kind of like, they have this kind of similar thing, man, where they can't get the top 2 guys to fight him. And as soon as Kamaru got on the mic, I was like, man, I have a real feeling like James would say the same thing after he gets a win over Paul Felder. Like, I literally said that to myself.
It's a joke, man. I mean, what happened to the? I mean, I'm not even being funny here. Like, it's one thing if someone, if a number 40 ranked guy calls me out, of course I don't want to fight you. You do have to earn your stripes. But when you're fucking 9-1 in the UFC, or you're like Kamara, who's like 7-0 or 8-0 in the UFC, what the fuck more does he have to do to get a guy to fight him? You know what I'm saying? You can't sit here and say those people haven't earned their right. Like, if a 2-0 guy or a 3-0 guy calls me out, yeah, you haven't earned your right yet. But if you're fucking Paul Felder's 7-3, okay, so yeah, it makes sense. We'll take the fight. You know what I'm saying? I was really just holding out for more money on that, before I agreed to that fight. Anyway, I got a better deal. It wasn't quite what I wanted, but it was decent, And now, here's the thing: if I can't get somebody ranked above me, which obviously I can't right now, Paul Felder is the next best option behind that because he's still ranked in the top 15 and he has a name. So it's the next, So yeah, you're 7-3, I'm 9-1. Yeah, it's not like my record's too good to fight you. You know what I'm saying? But motherfucker, these motherfuckers Kevin Lee and them act like I'm not good at the fucking fight. Motherfucker, my record in the UFC is better than yours is. I have more wins and less losses than you do. How the hell do you think that I'm not good enough and don't have enough credentials to fight you, dude? What a fucking joke, man! It's ridiculous. Like, what happened to the dignity of a man? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened to the dignity of being a fucking man, bro? Like, man, like I said, if a number 30 ranked guy calls me out, of course I'll be like, whatever, bro. But if a fucking guy ranked close to me talks some shit, I'll be like, fuck you, dude. What happened to the dignity of being a man? It's a joke.
Man,
that's on fire. Hey, it's a consolation prize. I got sources that are cool with Sean Shelby. They say when he calls, people do not pick up the phone. They do not. When your name or Kamaru's name come up, people don't be trying to sign up. So is that a good consolation prize to know that?
Oh, I appreciate you telling me that, but I already know that. You know what's funny? Last fight, swear to God, God's truth. We're on the phone. We're talking to Trinaldo about Trinaldo. He's like, well, you want to fight Trinaldo? He said, I know Trinaldo will take the fight with anybody. And I said, well, hell yeah. I said, I guess because at that point, when we initially signed the fight, Trinaldo was ranked above me. Okay. And I said, yeah, I'll take the fight with him. He said, they wanted to make the rematch. So Michael Chiesa beat me back in the Ultimate Fighter literally 6 years ago at this point, right? And he's still, of course, my UFC record's better than his is now. And he acts like I'm not worthy to fight him. Well, fuck you. Your ship is sell, motherfucker. And that's what I told Sean Shelby. I said, but what I was getting to originally is Sean says, man, we're trying to make the rematch with Chiesa. And he goes, Kevin Lee, I asked both of them. He said, these guys want no part of you, James. He said, the only other option we have right now is Felder and Trinaldo. And I said, well, I want whichever one's ranked higher. And at that time, it was Felder. I mean, it was Trinaldo because he had already beat Felder. And then, so then I took the Trinaldo fight because he was ranked higher. And then they moved the rankings around. By the time we fought, I was ranked above him somehow. But Sean Shelby said these guys want no part of you. Chiesa and Kevin Lee won't take the fights.
That's crazy. And it's kind of similar situation here too, because Paul Felder wasn't ranked, but then I guess after the whole situation with Khabib and everything, and he complained about the rankings, and magically he shows up in the top 15 without even having to take a fight. So
yeah, and the UFC, they act like they don't have anything to do with the rankings. They have everything to do with the rankings. Damn good what they do. Dude's like, how the hell is Nate Diaz is still ranked in the top 10 when he hadn't even fought 2 years?
Yeah, he's currently ranked number 8. It's crazy.
And the dude's like, they act like he's some kind of badass or something. This motherfucker has 11 losses. 11 losses, and they act like he's just one of the most dominant fighters in the world. Come on, son.
Craziness. It's madness, man. This game has a lot of weird things to it. Like, even the rankings that they show on Fox are different than the ones that they show on UFC.com. We saw that last night because they had Angela Hill ranked on UFC on Fox, but then you go to UFC.com, she's not ranked. So things like that are a little weird. I don't understand that.
Shoot, we tweeted about that last night. Actually, I saw it.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
When these fights be going on, do you stay active on social media? Cause we see some random stuff from fighters when people be actually in the cage when y'all not fighting.
Yeah, I try to stay. Most fights, like yesterday, I was actually at a local fight here in Dallas last night, so I didn't get to watch the UFC live. I just got to watch I just started watching some of the. I recorded on my DVR, started watching the replay. But most of the time, I'm active during the fights, and I'm recording them, and I'm recording the fights, and or as they're going, when I'm watching them live, I'm tweeting and talking, and I try not to. I mean, I talk about the fights like randomly, but I don't really troll people unless they're in my own weight class or they're ranked above me.
How about this? Sometime after this fight, you get your hand raised, you ball. We gonna give you that call. Can we watch a pay-per-view with you? Since we all in the Metroplex. Either you come over here, or we come out to your crib, and we do something streaming while we watching the pay-per-view.
Yeah, man. I'll see what I can do. I should be able to, man. I just moved into a bigger apartment, so I do have a little more room now. And I got a baby. This newborn baby's killing me, man. I got the baby, and then but I should be able to figure something out. I'll be doing some traveling when I get back. We got to go. My girl's from Hawaii, so we got to go over there and visit her family because only her mom came up to see him, so none of her family's got to see the baby or anything. So we'll probably be there for a while, for a couple of weeks at least. And I got it, but I'll definitely be watching fights when I'm home, so I'll let you know what's up.
For sure, yeah. We'll figure all that off the air. We'll talk about all that stuff later at some other point. Of course, you got to get the family time in with the newborn as well, man.
Oh yeah, get their hand raised, brother. We're not trying to be distraction.
No doubt.
Yeah, I'm getting it raised. Yeah, I'm about to leave and do the last 6 weeks of my camp where I always go to in Maryland. I'm the baby ain't stopping my training or anything like that. Like, my girl's, she's fortunately we're in a good enough situation. We're smart and saved money before we had the baby and did everything, the right way, where she don't have to worry about going back to work, and everything's good, and she used to stay at home and take care of the baby, and so it's all covered.
That's cool. That's good, man. Good to see you guys have that planned out and everything, and I definitely wish you guys all the best in adjusting to that, because I know that's a major life change for sure.
Yeah, it's good now. Like I said, he's a good baby. He really mostly only cries when he's hungry or when he's diaper. He don't complain about that. That's good for.
Is he gonna be a rowdy guy like you? He already see signs.
I hope so. I'm gonna turn him into a killer, man. I'm gonna turn him into a little badass. I'm gonna have. By the time he gets old enough to train, by then I'll probably have my own gym, and then it'll be great to train him. Even if he don't want to be a fighter, I'm still gonna make him train so he can learn how to defend himself. Because I ain't gonna have no little sissy.
There you go. Absolutely, raise him tough, man. But yeah, man, James, thanks for coming on the show again, man. Best of luck on July 14th out there in Idaho, in Boise, and look forward to talking to you after the fight again, man.
Yeah, appreciate your time, brother, as always, man. You hard man to track down.
Yeah, man, I'm trying, man. The baby made me an hour late, man. We was driving. He was crying. Had to stop breastfeed him and everything.
Oh, it's all good, man. It's all good. Well, we'll let you get back to the baby, man, and enjoy the rest of your evening. And you guys take it easy, man. And best of luck in the rest of the training camp, and of course on fight night against Paul Felder.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, have a good night.
Later.
And joining us now on the Slip and Dip podcast for the second time is Mr. Belal Muhammad, getting ready to take on Nico Price at UFC Utica. Is that what's going on?
Man, honestly, I'm hoping for it. Like, I mean, I've been training for Nico Price, but I don't know what's going on with him right now. I heard he got hurt. Then they announced he got hurt. Then he's like posting everywhere that he's not hurt. So, man, it doesn't really matter, honestly. I'm just waiting. Whoever's across cage for me, that's all. It doesn't really matter to me, man. They're going to come out with the loss. So regardless if it's Nico or this new guy, I'm ready.
So, I mean, that's got to be a little bit frustrating, right? Not knowing who you're going against. I mean, in preparation, like, are you watching a lot of tape on your opponents, or is it just, I'm just going to fight whoever shows up that night?
Honestly, it works out perfectly for me because I'm not the type to watch tape. I don't really like watch tape or care about it like that. My coach will sit there and watch tape, and they'll tell me certain things to work on, but it's not like we don't sit there and do a whole training camp based off of one guy. We always know. I had probably 10 pullouts in my whole career, so I've known guys always pull out on me the last second regardless. And so I've been used to this already. So I'm not one of those guys that wants to dwell on or be obsessed with Nico Price or whoever signed a contract with. So I just sit there, I train for anybody, I train to better myself, and whoever's in the cage, that's all I got to worry about that day.
Belal, what's up, man? It's your boy Kendrick. Give us some insight to what you think about the division. It's moving and shaking. It went from just like being at this bus stop for like a 4 or 5 months to y'all got moving parts every week for like the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, man, it's exciting. It's exciting to get people to start moving now, man. I just wish it'd be more exciting if some of these ranked guys will take some fights. All these guys want to sit out. That's why I wasn't moving. All these guys were all sitting out, saying they don't want to fight downward. When that's the only way to get it, man. That's how you give guys great fights, man. People are on big streaks over here, and they're not getting any big fights just because these ranked guys out here are saying, I only want to fight up. I only want to fight up. I mean, at some point, you got to fight down.
What do you think? How do you think they're gonna solve that problem? Because we also got James Vick on the show, and we're friends with Kamaru as well. And I got personal sources that say y'all 3 of the top 5 fighters that when y'all names come out, fighters in y'all division don't want to fight y'all. So in one way, I guess that's got to be kind of cool. You know, people are scared of you. But how do you think they can solve that problem? Because you got people with 8, 9 wins, and they're not even in the top 5.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. I mean, like you said, the only way you can start doing that is pulling a Yair, start just cutting everybody, man. You ain't taking a fight, you're cut.
Man, that's so crazy. I mean, you think that was justified?
Nah, I don't think it was justified. Yair's a good guy, and like I said, Yair, he's coming off a loss to Frank Edgar, so that was a tough loss he got. And to fight a beast like Zabit, I mean, I can understand why he'd want to get a little quick, maybe like a little tune-up fight first or something like that. I understand from Yair's point of view, but from Yair's point of view, like I said, once you get into that ranking, you're gonna have to fight a ranked guy. He tried to jump up so quick where he's like, give me Frankie Edgar, and he was like number 3 in the division. So you can't go from fighting number 3 in the division to fighting number 25 in the division. They're gonna give you a tough test. After you get to that level, every one of your fights is gonna be a tough test.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know, like you said, like eventually you're gonna have to fight down, but you can't fight that far down, especially after you get propelled into there. And it seems like with some of these divisions, it's like it's super hard to get matched up with, you know, top 10 opponents. Like if you're not in there. So
yeah, exactly, man. Everybody's out here just using the best thing for them would be to just get rid of the ranking, man, because everybody's using their numbers as an excuse to not fight. And then they could use that as an excuse, like, oh, why would I want to fight number 10? I'm number 3. Or why would I fight number 12? I'm number 5. So they could start using that excuse. If the UFC finally just gets rid of the rankings, which don't mean anything anyway. I mean, they got Mackenzie Dern ranked. She literally missed weight for, again, 2 of her 3 fights in the UFC. So, like, that's why I don't feel like that they have a big stand in my point of view.
Yeah, that's true. And then the weird thing is, as I've mentioned a few times throughout this episode, is like the rankings that they show on the UFC on Fox are different than the ones on UFC.com. So it's like, which rankings are the, you know, like where are these Fox rankings coming from, and why are they different? I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly, man. That just shows you how freaking messed up this whole ranking system is, man. And I mean, I understand where it is for like the newbies and the people that don't watch the show. They want to just build it up to those fans to bring the weight rankings for them. But I mean, they're gonna want to watch exciting fights, man. And if people are not taking fights, or they're using that excuse not to fight or sit out on the sidelines, that means the best fighters are not going to be wanting to fight. So it's just going to make the sport look bad.
Right.
Yeah, no doubt. It's kind of frustrating, man. Like, even if people are like, I get what you're saying about, you know, having a number there, so guys that are casual fans or people that may just be tuning in for the first time get it, like, oh, this guy must be pretty good. He's got number 7 next to his name, or number 2, or whatever. Like, meanwhile, like, coming up just this weekend, you have Wonder Boy ranked number 1 facing number 8, I believe, Darren Till. And then a couple weeks later, you got an interim title fight. Like, how is the number 1 guy not in the interim title fight? I don't understand this.
Exactly, man. And then I wonder what those casual fans say. Like, wait, what the heck? Didn't number 1 just fight last week? Who are these guys fighting for the title? That's weird.
Right. Shouldn't the rankings be that way? Shouldn't they be a little bit more fluid to where it's like whoever is literally about to fight for the title should have that number 1 next to their name?
Exactly, man. Or if they want to have these rankings, do a whole tournament bracket, man. Number 1 against number 16, or number 2 against number 15. Do it that way. Make it a real tournament if you guys want to do these rankings things. Otherwise, you're gonna have all these odd matchups right now, which don't make any sense. Wonder Boy could probably beat anybody in the top 5, but he can't fight for the title just because he lost to Woodley twice.
I would like that. I would like that tournament aspect coming back in the UFC. I mean, Bellator's doing one right now, and it's turning out pretty good. I mean, it's entertaining to watch.
Yeah, it's exciting, and it just gives people somebody to root for, and it'll give you that, oh, this guy's number 16, and look at him, he made it to the semifinals or something like that. It'll give you like that underdog aspect. It'll be cool if they do something like that.
And then you also know exactly what the next fight's going to be. Like, no question.
Exactly.
Unless if there's an injury, obviously, and you can have somebody slide in. But
yeah, exactly. That'll be perfect. So you'll know exactly what you're getting and who you're fighting. That's why I'm interested to see how this PFL thing is going to turn out, because the way they're making it seem sounds cool.
Belal, are you gonna call somebody out, get their hand raised, and get on that mic? And this whole like the PFL system, are those people trying to reach out to y'all just in case, like, hey, come this way? If they don't act right, come this way. Are people like kind of actually recruiting y'all to make that move?
Nah, I haven't been recruited by them, man. But yeah, man, I got a couple names I'm gonna call out after the mic, but I got to go there and do work and figure out who I'm fighting first. So I got to see who's in front of me first.
Yeah, that's crazy. When are you expecting to have that answer?
I'm hoping either tomorrow or Tuesday. If I don't get a contract by tomorrow or Tuesday, I'm figuring Nico's okay because he's sitting there on Twitter. Literally, people are, like his cousins or somebody are like commenting on all these posts saying he's hurt, saying, "What are you talking about? Nico's not hurt. Nico's still in." Like snapping. I'm like, somebody obviously gave information that he was out, so the UFC wouldn't just make that up. So, man, it's interesting to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, man, because I was ready to talk to you about Nico's game and everything like that, and then I go on Tapology, and I was like, I see this different name there. I was like, whoa, what did I miss? What did I miss? But so let's assume it is Nico, man. Let's assume it is him. Like, what, I mean, hey, we got to go one way or the other way. Let's assume it's Nico. So what are some of the things about his game that's kind of, I don't know, kind of pique your interest, or things that maybe you've seen in some of his previous fights that you're kind of looking forward to or looking out for in this fight, in that matchup?
Honestly, man, like I see Nico as like a Darren Elkins type of guy, where he's not the prettiest. He doesn't have like the prettiest technique, the prettiest knockout power, the one great technique. He just has that will to win, man, and he always comes to fight. And you're going to be in there with a fight, not with a guy that's going to give up or just go on there and just roll over. So I know it was going to be a tough fight, and I feel like it would have been a fun fight for me because I feel like I'm better everywhere than him. So it would have been cool just to go out there and show my skills and show where I lead up to him, because I think he's like 4-1 in the UFC. So it would have been cool to be somebody like that.
And one thing I just realized, like, this is the episode of guys getting, like, not knowing who their opponents are and then getting opponents switched to the last minute. Like, we just had Magny on, and he's fighting some guy from Cage Warriors who's nobody's ever heard of on his UFC debut. Fighting a highly ranked welterweight just out of nowhere. So it's some crazy things going on in the UFC world right now, man.
Yeah, that's crazy. I did not expect them to start signing. I didn't expect guys to get signed off the last minute. I figured it would be somebody on the roster, if anything. So yeah, that was weird with him and me. So I was like, what the heck? All right.
Right. So I guess that's the theme of this episode. Like, who will it be? I don't know. It's kind of crazy.
But like, can you give us some insight to your mindset? Because like James Vick say, a lot of people talk about they stay ready, but as he says, you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. He about that life. How many people you think are really about that life, that stay ready, like a Neil Magny or James Vick? Because like, it seems like when something crazy happen, it's always something very dramatic. People don't just can make that weight. It seems like dudes be like ridiculously over. That's why they can't make that weight.
Yeah, man, it's one of those where it's just those guys that are training all year round. Like, you have guys, I know guys that'll sit there and take off, will go on vacation or like right after a fight or before a fight camp, and they won't do nothing, and they're not training all year round. Me, I'm training all year round, and I'm always working, man, and like, I'm always in shape. So it's not one of those where if I get a fight, I got to get in shape first, then I get in camp. If I get a fight, I'm going straight to camp. So I'm already in the mode ready because I'm already in shape, so I don't have to get in shape before training for that camp. And like you said, man, like there's certain fighters out there that I know will take any fight or will accept any fight and will say yeah and won't have a problem with the UFC, won't sit there and cry. I'm one of those guys. Like, they give me a name, I'm gonna say yeah no matter what. Like you said, it doesn't matter to me who it is on that date, June 1st. I'm coming to fight regardless, and I don't care who it is as long as there's somebody across the cage from me, man. I'm from Chicago, man. I've been in over probably like 100 street fights, so It's not like one of those where I had to be like, man, I didn't make a game plan for this street fight right now. I'm just gonna go right out and fight.
It's funny. We were just talking off air how like you just got the like you're one of the nicest guys in the MMA, but best believe you about that life.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. A lot of these guys talk the game like they are about their life, but they're really not. You got Kobe Covington out here talking trash about people, and then when you see him in public, the dude's sitting there scared, looking out of the elevator, making sure there's nobody in the hallway for him. And I'm sitting there like, dude, is that really the guy right there sitting there scared? All that tough talk is it's all for the camera, man. When he's alone, when he's by himself, he's not like that at all.
Man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it kind of shows in the promo package for the upcoming pay-per-view. I mean, half of the pay-per-view or half of the promo package is him, on the mic, and they show like 2 clips of highlights where like all the rest is all RDA fighting. So I don't know, it's kind of weird, but so I did see this very, very good package on Bloody Elbow that Kareem Zidane threw together, along with Case Arts, some guys that I used to work with Case over at MMA Latest for a little bit, but talking about training during Ramadan, and obviously that's something that you're going through now, correct?
Yes.
So I guess kind of speak on that a little bit. I mean, like, because a lot of the package that they did was really well done. Again, it's on Bloody Elbow if anybody hasn't seen it. And it talks about like how some fighters like Khabib, for example, won't take fights during Ramadan, whereas other guys like yourself will still be in training camp and getting ready for fights. So how big of a difference is it for you, or is it like one of those things like maybe even outside of Ramadan you kind of still keep that same mindset? Like, how do you find that balance to still be effective in the cage?
I feel like it actually helps me a lot more during Ramadan, because Ramadan is one of those where it's the month where you got to be a lot more spiritually, and with like more religious, everything's supposed to be a lot more. You're supposed to be in touch a lot more with your whole religion, and everything like that. So if I'm sitting there concentrating on my religion throughout the whole month, throughout these last 3 weeks, whatever like that, leading up to my fight, I'm not sitting there concentrating about any of my opponents. I'm not sitting there stressing about my opponents, because I'm sitting there worried about my religion, trying to better myself as a human being. And then, like you said, with the whole diet aspect, I think it just makes me tougher, man. I'm sitting there going through 2 packs a day without eating or drinking. And like I said, everybody out here is always looking for an edge. Like some of these guys take some supplements for an edge. Some of these guys take steroids for an edge. I'm out here taking that. I know my opponent's not doing what I'm doing. I know my opponent's not eating or drinking. So I know I'm going to have that level up on him no matter what. And then just to have that mental strength over my opponent, I know I can take the fight anywhere I want to go.
So how does that work? I mean, because you're going through your training sessions, you're not able to drink anything. I mean, I guess that would help with weight cuts more than anything, but I mean, that's got to be tough on you. That's got to be tough on you.
And it's one of those where you got to be real smart with it after sundown. So like after sundown, I'm having a full Pedialyte. I'm doing it as in like I just finished the weight cut type mode, where I have to replenish my fuel and then eat the right food. Like some people gain weight during Ramadan just because they'll sit there right at when it's time to eat, they'll go straight to the dessert table or go straight to eating fattening food. So it's one of those where I got to be real smart, and I've done it 3 times before, so I already know what works, what doesn't work for me. So I know the exact foods that are going to help me a lot more, and which foods that I shouldn't eat that won't help me during my training the next day. So I just got to eat the right carbs, the right protein, the right fluids in me. So my next day at practice, I could be able to go through it. That's
interesting. So I guess like break down like a day like in the training camp. Like so, what's your morning look like, and then all the way till sundown where you can have that Pedialyte.
Okay. Well, tomorrow I go to we have sparring at 1 o'clock at Roof Sport, and then at 6 o'clock we do mitts and bag work and technique with Coach Duke Rufus and Scott Cushman. And then I'll be done probably with that at probably like 8 o'clock. I'll go home, get something to drink, and then after I eat and stuff, I'll go down to the gym and just do like strength conditioning or some type of conditioning workout at night.
Okay.
Seems fairly simple. Well, you it sounds fairly simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's easy, man. If you don't overthink it, man, you'll be all right. So I've actually had a lot of kids message me on Instagram and Twitter and ask me how I do it and how I train, and they've actually said it's been helping them. So, I mean, if I go out there and help anybody out there, just let me know.
That's awesome.
But do you watch boxing? Have you watching those boxing fights that have been on the last couple weeks?
I watched Lomachenko. I watched that one.
Just like I know MMA and boxing are completely different, but what do you take about somebody like him on that level that makes adjustments in the fights? How come fighters don't do that, especially in the UFC? When something's not working, they keep doing the same shit.
Man, dude, I was just saying that yesterday. I wanted to punch the TV just watching Damian Maia keep shooting. I'm sitting there like, dude, you just went through this your last 2 fights. You shot 50 times on Tyron Woodley and Covington, and they defended your shots. And you know that Usman's going to be a wrestler and he's going to be able to defend your shots. And everybody knows your game plan. And he was actually piecing him up on the feet a little bit in the first couple rounds. I'm like, you're landing, you're striking, man. Just be confident with it. And I think one of the shots he actually rocked him, but like he didn't even know he rocked him.
In the first round.
He's so uncomfortable striking that like he doesn't know when he hits. Like sometimes when I spar with like newbies or something like that, and like they'll sit there, close their eyes, and swing. I feel like he's that type of guy. But I'm like, dude, you've been in there with Anderson Silva. You've been with some of the greats in the world, man. You gotta have some sort of striking or comfort zone with striking, man. And it's not like you're going against knockout artists. You're going against a wrestler too. Usman ain't no striker. He's a wrestler. So he could have went in there if he came up with his game plan of just striking with him 100%. That fight would have been a lot closer than it looked.
Well, this is what I have a problem with. Tell me what you think about this. Last week we talked about the whole Raquel Pennington, people like her corner betrayed her and all that craziness. Why don't people talk about people's, like his corner betrayed him? They just stop shouting at him, hey, nobody says nothing about that. I don't get it. Like, you won't get this man or this lady hurt by not having, like, hey, you cannot do the same thing. Nobody says nothing about that, but then something that's kind of borderline controversial, they make a big deal about it. Like, I don't get it. Like, to me, that's actually worse because you've been in a training camp with this individual for 8, 12 weeks or whatever, and you see what you're working on ain't working, and you don't got a plan B in your life, and this is the UFC. This ain't no Bellator. This ain't no LFA.
Dude, exactly. Like, I'd rather have Raquel Pennington's corners in his corner. Like, I'd rather have a corner sitting there trying to hype me up, if anything, instead of Damian Maia's corner not being smart. Like, hey, yo, the takedown's not working. Let's just keep it striking. You're landing on your feet. You're landing. Just be confident. Let your hands go. His corner literally didn't say anything. I would have rather have him stop his fight just from his stupid shots, because if they would have stopped his fight probably in the 3rd round, it would have made him look that bad from him just trying to pull guard, just falling to the floor. The last 2 rounds were bad, man. I was there like, you're like tarnishing your legacy out when you do stuff like that. Like, this is like the 5th fight that he's done that where he'll just like lay down and like the last 2 rounds would just be like a boo fest. I'm like, dude, the corner should throw in the towel then. Like, he's not shooting in, and that's all he's trying to do. It's not like he's not trying to go out for no knockout. He's sitting there trying to shoot. It's not going to the ground. So, hey, throw it in. Throw in the towel. That's it.
Hey, you and another question, why don't people in MMA throw in the towel? Like, we just talk about Lomachenko. As my buddy Matt likes to say, no Moschenko. Yeah. he didn't make, up until this last fight when he stopped him with the body shot, he made 4 people quit, or the corner saved them. How come we don't see that in MMA with some of the brutal beatdowns we didn't see, male and female, that you never see people throw in the towel, other than the time when Trevor Whitman saved Nate Marquardt?
Yeah, man, it's just about having the right people in your corner, man. It's about having the right, because most of these guys have, like, most fighters in their corner. So, like, if you have fighters in your corner, all fighters are going to have the same mentality, man. Like, yeah, we'll never quit, we'll never give up. But you got to have that smart guy in your corner, that real coach that's going to sit there, and if he really cares about you, if he sees it, it's not happening, it's not happening. Like, Raquel Pennington, like, there's really honestly nothing that she could have done to Amanda Nunes to hurt her. Like, she lost that fight, but like you said, it's not like she was getting murdered in there. She wasn't getting killed like that. She was getting pieced up, but not, oh, crap, she got rocked 5 times or something like that, and she wanted to give up. She just gave up because she hurt her nose. So it's not like she was getting beat up that bad. But, man, I've seen, like, a bunch of guys, crazy stuff happen in this sport. And then, like, you saw yesterday with that give it to knee bar, though, like, some corners would have stopped that fight, and then that guy ended up getting the knee bar at the last second. So, I mean, it all depends on what your corner cares about you, your corner really cares about you, and if they know you have that type of heart where you're going to be fighting it to the end, or if you're like Raquel Pennington where I'm just going to give up and put my head down and take the beating.
Yeah, even with, I said this with our last episode, man, it was like, it looked like she was asking for permission. Like, she wasn't really trying to say, like, I'm done, because, you know, like she said after the fact, she was like, if I really wanted to be done, I would have been done. But like, we had Dean on last episode, Dean Thomas, he said she had a chump moment. Like, it was one of those things. She had a chump moment where she thought maybe, you know, she couldn't do anything about it, but she probably would have regretted it for the rest of her life if she actually, you know, had that fight stopped.
Yeah, exactly, man. Like I said, she wasn't getting beat up or killed like that bad to the point where somebody needed to throw in the towel. She was just losing, and she gave up on herself, honestly. But that's the type of corner you need to try to hype you up. Maybe she's like that girl where she'll she'll be dead at practice, and her coach needs hey, come on, let's get one more round or something like that, and that like gives her that extra burst of energy. I mean, it didn't happen with that fight, but who knows? Maybe it could have.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. It's kind of one of those weird things, man. There's not really a right answer or wrong answer because somebody's always going to be like, oh, this is a black eye on the sport. This shouldn't be here. Like, this shouldn't happen. Like, if somebody says they're done, they should be done. But in reality, that's the kind of thing that happens in the training room all the time. Where it's like you're doing 4 or 5 hard rounds, and it's like, oh, I'm done. And the coach is like, nope, get up. You're still going. Like, you're not done. Like, you're going to push through it,
Yeah, it's all mentality, man. It's all these people that's why everybody's out here training weights, doing this. It's all about training mentality, man. If she was fasting during Ramadan, she would have been able to push through that 5th round.
So you're saying there's some secrets? There's some secrets out here that people don't know about. Yeah, man. Absolutely. So, the fight coming up, man. Like I say, we're not sure exactly who you're gonna be fighting yet. You don't know your opponent, but I mean, obviously, I guess the biggest thing for me is like it's not only just a challenge of not knowing your opponent, but going through Ramadan, man. You're going through a lot of stuff right now for this fight, so I got a lot of respect for what you're doing right now, man.
I appreciate it, man. But I'm doing what I love, man. I'm going out there and I'm ready to go have fun, man. I've been out for about like 6 months, so I'm itching to just get back in that cage and do some work.
Hey, and when you do some work, you're going to come back on the podcast, right? Because on the Slipping In podcast, when you ball, you get the call.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Belal, thanks for coming on, man. We look forward to your fight, whoever it's going to be against out there at UFC. But definitely looking forward to the fight, man, and hopefully you get your hand raised and come back on the show and talk about it.
Yeah, for sure, man. I appreciate it, guys. I hope to get back on, too. We'll have like a victory show.
Absolutely. Sure. Sounds like a plan to me. All
right,
bro.
bro.
We'll let you get back to the rest of your evening, man. Take it easy.
Thanks, man.
All right, have a good one.